It is the one that Wizard is closest to his heart. This is from Time Magazine. Time fucking Magazine, guys. Is doing an article here. Assassin's Creed fans slam decision to include Black Samurai in feudal Japan story. It's a 3-minute read, which means we'll get like 45 minutes out of this bad boy. All right. Because the latest Assassin's Creed game is in the beloved franchise based loosely on historical events called Assassin's Creed Shadows has generated controversy among fans for one of its leading characters, a real-life figure named Yasuki, who was a samurai believed to have been of African origin. Well, let me stop you right there. Time Magazine. Time Magazine was supposed to be hold on. Time Magazine was supposed to be a reputable source, a reputable paper, right? A reputable magazine company.
Magazine, yeah.
Yasuki didn't actually have any sort of historical reference that he was a samurai. There's two historical references to a black individual who was part of Nobunaga's court. That was it. That was the extent. They didn't say it was a samurai. They didn't say he was fucking Nobunaga's best friend, like in the fucking Netflix TV show, right? They didn't say it was he fucking defended the nation. He was a guy who was so fucking black, and this is in the historical records. He was so fucking black that Nobunaga thought that he was dipped in fucking ink, and he had him bathe for several hours, if not days, to try to remove the ink from his skin. Okay, that's it. It was believed that he was a slave from Africa that was brought over by the Dutch Jesuits, right? And then after spending some time with Nobunaga, he was eventually given back to the Jesuits as a slave. Okay, that doesn't sound like a samurai. That doesn't sound like somebody that was held in high esteem by the court.
Like an asshole.
Right? You know, if this guy was a samurai, it'd be really weird to be like, "Hey, we're done with you playing samurai. Now go back to being a slave." Like, no, right? So it doesn't make sense.
It's like when Nobunaga called Hideyoshi a monkey because he had 6 fingers on one hand.
Aren't people putting the cart before the horse here? I'm sure the black guy's race will be part of the story. Possibly. I'm sure there could be a good story here, but what I'm saying is...
the game hasn't come out yet, and I might be wrong, but I smell black experience coming from a mile away. I don't know what. They'll make him go through the American black experience somehow.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem I have, okay? This isn't a fictional character, okay? No. This is where I draw the line, right? If you're going to do like the Assassin's Creed America and like you're playing as fucking John F. Kennedy, right? Then you have to follow the John F. Kennedy story, right? You can't make suddenly John F. Kennedy is an alien that also like is pro-communism and like is gay, right? You're like, oh, you changed way too much of history, right? So if this guy is a historical figure, if this guy is a historical figure, you have to follow his historical trajectory, right? He doesn't know Japanese. Okay, there's no evidence that he knew Japanese, spoke anything other than the African language.
Isn't Assassin's Creed a series always been like fictional? Because like in Valhalla, they talk about gods and stuff.
But they try to be historically accurate.
It's always mythical, isn't it?
Early Assassin's Creeds would go as far that the targets that you kill, if they were real people, they had to make sure they had the year right and how they died perfectly accurate. They would change them up like, oh, this guy was a Templar and he's evil, he's doing all this stuff. But like, if it was like this guy died by poisoning in his house on this day, that guy's dying by poisoning on his house on that day. Like they made sure to.
Otherwise, go the other route. Make the
lots of what they do is to make sure that there's historical accuracy. There's a lot of historical accuracy in the games. Remember, if you try to kill people that you shouldn't kill, it'll go.
It'll tell you.
Yeah, you can't kill that guy. That wasn't historically accurate.
The kayfabe of the games is that you're playing through the actual past in a simulator that's like mimics the past as it happened. Yeah. So it's like if you can't like this person wasn't dead, so you can't kill him.
Yeah, you can't just go to George Washington. It'll be like
always just because the character is black. That's the reason.
No, because Yasuki isn't real. They're treating this fiction. Okay, so some guy wrote a book about a black samurai and claimed that he was real. He then used his own book as proof that this black samurai existed. Then other people used the guy's fictional book as proof of this black samurai. So far as to whenever anyone points to this particular individual, they point back to the guy's book as proof that he existed. It's like people pointing to fucking L. Ron Hubbard's book and going, yeah, that's fucking. It's a fictional book. Okay, Dianetics is a science fiction book. It's not a fucking religious icon. I don't know why suddenly this book that was fucking advertised on TV going Dianetics, L. Ron Hubbard, the new fictional novel suddenly became like their version of the Bible. Right?
Yeah.
Same thing here. It's like this is a fictional. It's like if I wrote a story about a fictional character and then suddenly everyone started treating this fictional character as real. Could you imagine if I made a new game and like it's about Luke Skywalker and like Luke Skywalker is not real? Like, no, yes, it is. Haven't you ever seen Star Wars, that documentary film about Luke Skywalker's life? You're like, dude, are you fucking retarded? Right? Star Wars is a movie. He doesn't exist. Okay, he doesn't fucking exist. He never existed. And there's no proof.
The other thing is that, as I pointed out before, that the playing as a historical character in Assassin's Creed has been done before, but generally it's you play as someone whose the history is happening around. And like Yasuke would be fine as a side character, like you do side missions with him, and it would be really cool. And people would be like, oh, they expanded the history on this guy or whatever. And that, that would have been the end of it. It would have been an interesting side quest that people could have learned history off of. But now making him the main character, they're going to basically, like Tony said, make stuff up. So
consultancy.
Assassin's Creed, where you play as Forrest Gump, would be fire then.
Yeah, hilarious.
I play that, sure.
Also, the other thing is, why would you make a game in Japan, feudal Japan, right? There's plenty of fucking characters, plenty of fertile ground to use. And we go, black guy. Of course. Yeah. Feudal Japan. That's what, when I think of a game set in feudal Japan, samurai, black guy is what I think of.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
We know that this is all done for pushing a message, pushing a narrative.
Again,
the guy's not well known. He's not well known. He's not famous. He's not fucking people weren't like, yeah, we really need this. If this was like the third fucking Assassin's Creed set in Japan, like if they did like Assassin's Creed Shadows and another game and like a spin-off, right? Like how they did with Black Flag and then they did like Freedom Cry, right?
Yeah.
They'd be like, oh, okay, that makes sense, right?
That's
okay,
Samurai,
this is the spin-off, right? Of that other one.
Can you imagine?
So I will say that, as I said about this before too, is that I feel like this is the result of Ghost of Tsushima being so well received and basically beating them at Assassin's Creed Japan first, and with like that new one that came out, Way of the Ronin, with Neo having a white, samurai protagonist, is that they were like, well, let's do something different, something a bit more marketable. So they wanted to do that. There
plus
is
the
also
anime,
like,
the one on Netflix. It's like
the Japanese, the Ubisoft Japanese YouTube page. If you look at the comments on that, is filled with Japanese guys being mad because they've been waiting for a samurai Assassin's Creed for years, and they don't get to play as an Asian guy. They have to get to play as an Asian woman or a black guy.
It's all very cynically made.
See, why can't you just
them following trends,
Why can't we just play as a Japanese samurai? Because if you look at the past Assassin's Creed, at least I played the first one. You played as you played as
Altair is
Muslim guy. Played a Muslim guy, and then it was an Enzio, right? Italian,
Enzio
right?
was Italian guy,
yeah, right. And then Black Flag, what's it called?
Black Flag he's a Welsh guy.
Yeah. And you get
the
my
American
point, right?
game, he plays a Native American. Blah, blah, blah.
You get my point. You get my point, right? Like, why can't we just play as a Japanese?
Yeah, exactly. It's like everyone matches besides Black Flag because it was Golden Age piracy and everyone was all over everywhere.
Yeah,
but he was Welsh. Shay is Irish descended, and they're in Canada for that. But Jacob and Evie are English. They're in England. Arno's French. He's in France.
Valhalla, they're basically Viking like.
They're Vikings in England, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Other side of the fence says there's no samurai that's gonna act like an assassin.
That's
no
the other
in being an
thing.
assassin.
I don't think samurais are a little different as
Some of them were.
Well, here's the thing: you don't have to see. Everyone's going well. There's no samurai that's gonna do. No one said you had to make it a samurai. It's Assassin's Creed. It could have been a ninja. Actually, hold on, because I'm saying something here. Fucking everyone wants to interrupt me. Look, you could have made an Assassin's Creed game based on Hanzo Hattori. Hanzo Hattori is actually the name of whoever was in charge of the Hanzo clan, right? The Iga clan of ninjas. Historically, it wasn't one individual, but rather several individuals who used that name over the years. So it could have been real easily done where you put in a character you're playing as Hanzo, but not the Hanzo, right? You're just playing as the newest Hanzo or the latest Hanzo or the fucking last Hanzo, right? And so you're doing all your ninja shit
between the Hattoris and the Fuma clan, Kotaro Fuma. Yeah. That would have been interesting.
The other thing is about samurais and honor. That's a movie thing that was created. That's a romanticizing samurai thing that came later. That's Hollywood stuff.
And ninjas, the way we think, the way they're depicted in popular culture, didn't exist that way.
Yeah, they were.
Also, samurais were really big with the bow and arrow, not so much the sword. That's again Hollywood.
So like samurais, the idea was if they were paid to protect or kill or whatever, just get the job done. Didn't matter how, didn't matter all that. So all that honor stuff that's retroactively added to samurai stuff. It didn't exist during the time of the samurai. They had no honor. They were just like kill them because they had to be killed, kind of thing. And then
the black samurai has no point.
The Ghost of Tsushima samurai had more honor though.
But like because Ghost of Tsushima isn't based on his history. It's based to be a Kurosawa film. Yeah. It's a Kurosawa film movie, video game thing. So like the katana didn't exist in the time that game is set in. They had to just have katanas there just for the sake of movie.
Hey, you know what? We're just gonna.
All I'm saying is, look, if they made a Assassin's Creed set in the Old West, right? You go, all right, we're gonna do an Assassin's Creed set in Mexico during the Old West times, and you're gonna play as a fucking German guy. Like, why? Why would I play as a German guy? Well, there was some German traders. I mean, the Three Amigos had those German guys. You go, so that's the justification. Look, so there's some historical text where they mention one black guy once. That's not justification. That doesn't mean now we can just have black people in the fucking samurai game. Now we just have black people in the fucking Japanese everything, right? It's not.
And like I said, I feel for the Japanese guys that. Like Japanese Assassin's Creed fans that really wanted something like this, and they're not getting it. Like,
just play Tenchu. That's what I say. Fuck you, Ubisoft.
And so you're telling me Japanese film doesn't show that? So the Seven Samurai wasn't about honor, Lone Wolf and Cub. Yeah, they're all romanticized versions.
Romanticized.
Just like
reality is more black and white. I mean,
it started with those. It started with those movies and such. Like it was.
Just like knights in the Code of Chivalry, where everyone thinks that like knights acted so honorably, and the reality is they're just guys that read
the historical accounts of these feudal lords. They were monsters. Like, and I'm being kind by saying that. Hideyoshi would make pyramids of people's noses, for God's sake, and then display them. Like this man was a savage. Like these aren't nice people the way the movies make them.
So the people, this guy, African American gentleman, saying, "I don't want this. Don't want this." It is all for the message.
Like Potion, my dude. Go to the trailer for like Ubisoft Japan and look in the comments and translate each one. They're filled with Japanese guys being like, "I wanted Japanese hero Assassin's Creed." Because
also,
Assassin's Creed, people have been wanting feudal Japan since forever.
Yes, they have.
And he does. That guy, he was at the conference, Potion. He was at the conference. They elected him King of the Blacks. They said, "Hey, we need a King of the Blacks to speak on this issue." He was anointed. Just for this issue. They're like, just for this. Also, this right here, this guy's a fucking retard. Says, for anyone complaining about Yasuki being a samurai, here's a picture of Yasuki in Samurai Warriors 5.
Historically accurate.
Historically accurate. So, Samurai
Okay.
Warriors is the most
People are doing like Dragon Ball shit
thing.
in
No, but this is exactly what I'm talking about. You're pointing to a fictionalized game and going, see, this proves that he's real because this other fictional media has him in there.
The guy has gauntlets, like the man with the iron fist. It's the same story. Like,
Oh man.
crazy. They want him to be. It's like a Robin Hood figure, They just want him to be real.
Why didn't you complain then? Because I did complain. Samurai Warriors 5 has so many fucking things wrong with it. It reduces the amount of actual playable characters. Well, yeah, they remade everything. They reduced the amount of characters. They tell the story from just Nobunaga's point of view. It's like follows him.
Too many clone characters.
It's real cheap. It's the worst Samurai Warriors game, I think, since 1. I think 1 is pretty bad just because it's the first, and they really hadn't decided how to differentiate themselves from the Dynasty Warriors games. But 5 is fucking terrible. Hell, Dynasty Warriors 9 is fucking terrible. Right? They tried to go open world.
They did the same route. Yeah.
Strange Signal says, TJ, check what I DM'd you. Relevant/topical post. So take a look at that. Thank you for the $2, Strange Signal. Let's see what we got. All right, let's take a look.
All that being said, I am still excited about Assassin's Creed Shadows to an extent. Still cautiously optimistic because it's still Ubisoft. I'll just play as the Shinobi.
All I can say is Yasuke was real, but his life wasn't that interesting. So people need to calm the fuck down.
All right. This guy says, PSA, if you have no issue with these two characters being a major part of stories about historical Japan, but you have an issue with a fictionalized rendition of Yasuki being in Assassin's Creed Shadows, you're just a racist. But Strange Signal says, Palestinian flag, check. Ignores or is ignorant of the DEI infusion at Ubisoft, check. Says that we should take the same issue with white characters in movies as we should a playable black character, check. Doesn't care that you have to deal with playing as a black character for hours in Japan, check.
Well, one's a graphic novel, Shogun.
I believe
on the right, it's a graphic novel from Shogun. It's not exactly accurate either.
We don't play this. This is not a series, right? This isn't like something that we're waiting on. We're like, oh man, this is like the 15th movie in this series of movies.
Yeah.
The situations are not identical. They're not one-to-one. It's not a one-to-one comparison.
Like I feel like this was Ubisoft's moment to just make the Shinobi girl like the main protagonist. But Ubisoft wants to have their people that want to play loud, and I get that.
Well, they want to look like the Rippaverse, Ice Worm and the female.
They want to do their stealth.
Story.
They want to have they want people who don't want to do stealth. So it's like, well, we need a samurai character. Ghost of Tsushima's really popular. Can't have a Japanese samurai character. Let's do something different. I get it. I don't
think it's do something different. I think we're being too.
No, you're being too generous. It's very cynical the way they came up with the idea.
It's real simple. They went, we want to put a black guy in there. How can we justify it? Oh, this one black guy possibly existed. That's it. That's all we need. Remember when they were doing, they made fucking Joan of Arc black, and they went, well, you see, sometimes African people came over to Europe through some like trade routes.
Joan of Arc is actual. She's an actual person. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And I pointed it out that the studio that is doing this one, I believe it's Ubisoft Quebec, did Syndicate, they did Odyssey, and they did DLC work for Valhalla. And they usually add in something that didn't really fit to the time frame. You might be able to argue that it did, but transgender in Syndicate, gender fluid in Valhalla's DLC, where you're just like, did you really? And they did, and it's like, did you though? And I think this is just it coming to its natural conclusion.
Yeah. All right. Let's get move on from that. Potion wasn't here to argue with us. There are other comments attached to that post. Well, I already clicked on. All right. Strange Eagle says, The Last Samurai is a movie where Tom Cruise plays a character that ends up fighting alongside the Japanese. It's a story that you don't have to contend with for hundreds of hours. If you're wanting to play as a samurai in Japan, a huge amount of content requires playing Yasuki. All Father's problem, among others, is that he isn't regarding what it means to have to deal with the great amount of content feeling off. Imagine having to play a game for hundreds of hours with bad audio engineering, or bad translations, or bad graphics, or bad mechanics. Get it? It's the requirement to do with having to play the game where detail is off throughout a great portion of the game. You cannot equate a movie to a game where you get down to brass tacks. Also, The Last Samurai is actually respected by Japan, while this game is provocative. Talk your shit all you want about people being racist. You're a fucking know-nothing all-father. And to pretend otherwise is to disregard everything I've written here, only just reactionaries, DEI agents, BlackRock bitches, race-baiting activists, and SJWs actually want this. In case the checkmark blocks me, here is his ridiculous post. Anything else? No, that's it.
Yeah, and the people who are complaining about this didn't care about Adewale. They like Adewale. I like Adewale. I like Aveline de Grand Prix. I like her. You know, I still, like I said, I don't hate the Black Shogun thing. I just think it's like, just a little. Did you though? Did you? A little eye rolly, just a little.
Y'all are mad. There's no Mexican samurai. I'm not.
I'm not Mexican.
I would, if they made like a game and there was like a Mexican, I'd be like, what the hell is this shit? Why would you do that? Look, I don't know if you know this, but Mexican people love it. We fucking love it. When you make a character that's Mexican, he has a big fucking sombrero on, he's wearing a serape, he's speaking in like a thick ass accent with a huge fucking mustache. We're like, yes, that's us. That's me. That's my uncle.
Once upon a time in Mexico, you know, and Antonio Banderas is there being a Mexican. Yeah.
Put him in a fucking mariachi outfit, sombrero, a fucking luchador. Play into it, right? Have him dressed in the Day of the Dead outfit, whatever. We're cool with that. We like that. These are the ones that get mad. We like Speedy. Speedy Gonzalez is our boy.
Yeah, speaking of people, like I remember it was a thing that they were trying to get rid of Speedy, or they weren't going to use Speedy in Space Jam or something, and then a bunch of Mexican people complained that they love him, and so they used him.
Yeah.
Well, they took him off TV for a while. When I was in college, they removed him. They banned him from TV, and all the Mexicans had to be like, "Whoa, what are you doing? That's our guy. That's a boy." All right, enough of that.